Hi all, this is Fundamentals in 5 minutes, where I take a topic relevant to business owners and challenge myself to summarise it in 5 minutes or less. Today's video is all about churn rate, the incredibly important customer retention KPI. We'll be discussing what it is, how it works, and why it's important. And with all that said, let's get into it. Churn rate, or churn, is the annual percentage rate at which customers stop subscribing to a service or leave a supplier. That is, churn is a measure of customer retention. It describes a proportion of lost business, be it revenue, subscriber number, or some other associated variable that a company can track and monitor over time. In its simplest form, churn is calculated by taking the number of churned customers and dividing it by the total number of customers they have. As an example, if you have 10,000 customers and 500 leave, your churn rate is going to be 5%, which is 500 divided by 10,000 times 100. Such analysis can get a little more granular should the situation demand it. In particular, a company may want to understand when a customer is churned. To achieve this, they will assess customer cohorts or groups of customers defined by a common variable, such as sign-up date. We will discuss cohort analysis in an upcoming video, but for now, the key point to understand is that the best way to recognize where and how a customer is churning is to map out where the churn points are and monitor them over time. This will provide a company with a granular and information-rich insight into customer churn rates. There are countless variables that can cause a customer to churn, many of which are nuanced and will be entirely context dependent to the company in question. The two most common causes of churn, however, are trialing and product fit. This is especially true for software as a service, FMCG, and direct-to-consumer models. When consumers are encouraged to trial a product or service through pricing or promotion tactics, a company can experience elevated levels of churn. This is because pricing and promotion tactics can be amazingly effective at bringing people in the door, but they artificially inflate a company's lead numbers, which in turn leads to decreases in the quality of the lead and inflates the number of customers who may not actually need or want to pay for the product being trialed. Product fit can also apply to situations where the product doesn't perform as required or meet expectations of the customer. In this context, churn rate is a great surrogate for assessing where and how your product is failing. Of course, this is only possible when such interactions are mapped and tracked by the company. In general, a well-matched product that serves the customer's needs and provides more perceived value than it costs will always demonstrate low rates of churn. When assessing churn rates, it's also important to account for the natural attrition rate of the product in question. All products have defined life cycles that cause a customer to churn once their needs have been satisfied. Such things can be modelled and need to be factored into churn rate analysis. Failing to understand a product's natural attrition rate can be very distracting for companies who may spend resource and time trying to solve issues that don't need to be solved. And finally, why does all this matter? That's pretty simple. It is much cheaper to serve and supply an existing customer than it is to find and acquire a new one. This is especially true for software as a service companies, where the cost to acquire customers can be orders of magnitude higher than it is to retain them. So if you've already got the customer, you don't want to lose them. And with that, we're all done. Churn rate summarized in under 5 minutes. It's been my absolute pleasure to take you through this content. As always, I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments, and please feel free to send any questions through to me on LinkedIn. And I'll catch you on the next video.